welcome.
So many people here, I can't believe it. Morning. Morning. Afternoon.
Sounds cooler.
I don't think it's my first. Getting all situated. Am I just giving a sermon today, you are? Praise the Lord. There is some church going on over across the way. I thought maybe we should stop in and get saved. Amazing grace. We're all lost.
I got some singing up here.
There's no saving us.
Let's welcome Lisa Wilcox. Tuesday night. And Heather Langenkamp. The ladies of Elm Street. So why do you think Nightmare on Elm Street holds up so well and is so loved by so many as a franchise?
Can you repeat the question?
It's starting off very well. They do have cocktails back here.
Diet Coke, buddy. You're the dog. Heather, you go first. You're the original. Actually, I think that I guess I only use a mic. I don't know.
I think it's. I notice it in movies that have cell phones and modern technology all over the place that movies date a lot faster. Have you noticed that? And so in Nightmare 7, when I have that giant cell phone, it just takes me out of the movie right away. But the originals, and most of them, are devoid of references to technology. And I don't know, sometimes I think maybe it's something that simple, but awesome storyline and great casts and good actors. I mean, of course, that's one of the reasons why it's so timeless, but I always think maybe there's other reasons too that are stupider in a way, like no modern technology in any of those movies, because they never had any money to like put the latest bells and whistles, so everything was always really streamlined.
And organic,
And
very
organic.
They're organic films, and I think having the feminine heroine factor going through the whole series is fantastic. What year was the first one?
84?
84.
Is
Okay.
that right? 84.
Because we were still going through, you know, women and glass ceilings and, you know, equal pay and all of that. I mean, the feminist movement was still kind of happening in the early 80s. So
and they're not as sexy as some of the other horror movies of the time. And so that way, I think kids watch them a lot younger too, and they fall in love with the characters.
Right.
And there's not that extra, like, sexuality.
TNA, as they call it.
Because, you know, Lisa was telling me how much she wanted to do Porky's when it was coming out, and but she didn't get cast because she wouldn't take her clothes off in the audition. I mean, can you imagine? But she could have been in Porky's. Okay. But that's why that movie,
We all could have,
you know,
been
even though that
Porky's.
movie is. Actually, you're right. We could have probably.
Just go take the clothes off.
You know, so many like 5-year-olds watch Nightmare, and I think it's because their parents are like, "Oh, there's no sex, so it's fine."
Of course.
And that, you know.
Yeah, our outfits weren't really that sexy, were they?
Not sexy.
No.
Not sexy. They didn't want us to be sexy at all.
No. I remember the white leather belt and the gray jeans very, very well.
And I remember the blue
Sweater
suit. Yes.
I remember the boys' clothes. That's what I
Oh,
wore
really?
boys' clothes the whole time. Yeah.
Who picked out the outfits?
Not me.
Who picked out the outfits?
I did
Oh,
not pick the
no,
director.
the costume
Four-year-old.
designer.
Yeah.
Costume designer, and then the director would have say, we would have some say.
And they had such low budgets. I mean, I think it was like $250 was the budget.
Right.
I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah.
So she had to buy like all of my clothes for $250.
Kmart.
So, and then you have to have seconds. So especially with the pajamas, there was 3 sets. I know the pajamas were $6.99 in Chinatown. So I mean, they give those people such a small amount of money.
And they do an amazing job
They
of
do
what
an
they do
amazing
get. I don't know
job.
how the heck they do it. But yeah, I had like, in 4, there was a lot of the stunt work and stuff. So I remember one day I saw like 4 stunt doubles of 4 Alices running around. I'm like, there I am again, there I am. And they're all wearing the same, because you know, they're wearing the same outfit, the hair, the whole thing, you know.
Which outfit was
It was
it?
kind of
Which one?
fun. It was the cool outfit, jeans and the,
With the
gray
jacket?
shirt, Taylor's not
Could
wearing
you,
it today.
you
but-
could model it
but
for us.
she could model it for us. You know, and the leather jacket, yeah, that was a good one.
Do you still have any of the wardrobe or any of the props from the movie?
I have one dress,
Mhm.
the one from, it's the green and purple pink floral dress at the end of 5. I still have
And
that.
she wears
one.
that still to this day.
Do you have anything? Anything left?
And
Yeah, I have, me?
Yeah.
I have the white dress.
Oh,
Yeah.
Why don't we bring those to the next time we're all together and have a
Yeah.
museum?
We'll have a
Let's do it.
museum.
I love it.
A museum
We'll carry a
of our
glass
wardrobe.
case.
I
with
can
us?
wear it.
Okay, we'll get it cleaned first.
Yes.
Mine's a little dusty.
Mine's a little dirty, yeah.
Okay, that's going to be really fun. We'll charge. How
That's
much should we
all.
charge to come in and see it?
I did have a pair of pajamas.
I don't know.
that-
How about $10?
Okay, okay. For the museum, the Girls
Yeah.
of Elm Street Costume Museum.
Yes, we'll give it to our favorite charity.
Exactly.
Lisa said she also had a pair of pajamas.
I did, but I don't know where they are. I wore them out. I wore them in real life.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Heather,
I
anything?
have my pajamas.
What pajamas
still.
did you have? I can't remember.
And
From Nightmare 5.
Oh, okay.
White and pink.
Because I remember you just
In the
wore the
shower.
shirt in 4, the long shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 5.
Yeah.
Heather mentioned having a feminine role as a lead in the Elm Street films. Do you think that was really important to them? To have a strong female, not someone
Yes.
just running around getting slashed up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I
definitely.
mean, none of us have size D boobs, so, you know,
right.
we could, you know, we were girls. You know, we were just girls. And strong girls, though.
And
Tough
I just
girls.
don't think it's fun to watch. I mean, when boys are fighting against each other, I mean, 2 men. I don't know. I'm always kind of wincing, and I never really want to see the outcome of that. But when a girl is fighting a man, that's a really interesting proposition right there. You know, when
Good
you have
point.
a young girl like fighting for her life and kind of
Against
winning in some
a
ways
mature man.
against a man, I think it's
It's something that lately.
You did
it's
very
something
well.
that women have had to do since the dawn of time.
Right.
You know,
And he's a
fend off the
molester.
evil
You know,
men.
it's the young girl fighting
Yeah,
the
fend
molester,
off the
and
evil
it's
men.
I mean,
a
I think it's an
horrific-
age. I mean, I think it's the primal problem that women have is how do you maintain not only your virginity but maybe just get from point A to point B without being molested
without
by
being
somebody.
molested or scathed or
And,
something.
I mean, even
Yeah.
today, when you read about these little, you know, these young girls in Africa or in villages, I mean, they're afraid to go wash their clothes in the river or whatever because they get attacked. And so it's this very primal, I think, worry that every woman has when they're walking to their car, the parking lot.
Right.
Totally.
Yes,
or wandering around the airport.
Or wandering around the airport alone.
Yeah, at 3 in the morning.
Oh, it must have been
Sorry,
scary
it's a
about
reference
that.
to- I had travel nightmares. It was like
Oh.
nightmare on steroids. My traveling. Anyway.
Now,
Another story.
Well, Lisa brought up a molester. Do you think it was really evident in those movies that's what Freddy was supposed to be?
Yeah, when you see that tongue,
Yeah, you
when
don't
you see
see
that
it.
tongue coming out of the phone, there's something about that
There's
that
something
is
sexual
so-
about
Yeah,
I
that's
call
a
me
pretty
crazy.
cool guy.
Yeah, the tongue is such a kind of a grotesque sexual image, I think, especially the tongue in Nightmare 7 too, which was
Oh,
disgusting.
that one was really.
It's
Yeah,
yeah.
there-
You guys aren't seeing those like images when you watch the movie.
watch the movie again. Find that object, like that
Yeah.
game in the book. What was I gonna say? Well, also too, Robert Englund, he's very seductive, right?
Sure,
The
yeah.
molester. I mean, no, he's seductive
he's
with
very
his
hot.
voice and his movement, and
Right.
and he's not like, I'm the monster, you know. I mean,
Right.
he's like got that hand, and so there's all kinds of sexual undertone.
Mhm.
That's what I see.
Oh, yeah, even the way he peels an apple.
Right.
You know? It's
Totally.
very suggestive.
Well,
Yeah.
I think,
With his
the
feet up
sad-
on the desk and just playing with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the sad thing is,
I just
is
did that Friday night.
the girls who are really sexy in horror movies, because I think our culture is still really warped in this respect, but there's this idea that if you are like showing off your body or wearing an outfit where you see your figure really well, that you're somehow asking for it. And I think a lot of those sexier horror movies play into that a lot. So that if the girl is really voluptuous and really beautiful, like we all know she's going to die because there's this, I think
She's
there's
asking for
undercurrent
it.
that she's asking for it and that she's, by being sexy, kind of asking to be killed. And so that's why I really actually don't like a lot of those movies, because I think it just reinforces that idea that if you are a beautiful woman, then somehow it's just your fate to get, treated really badly. And we weren't on purpose trying to hide our sexuality. I mean, I just feel like the storyline didn't support that part of this, part of the story. But I mean, I think we have to all be really careful. Like, when I see girls in my daughter's high school class who are dressed really provocatively, like it is true. My first thing is, well, she's gonna get into some trouble, like she deserves everything she gets, and I have to keep like pulling myself back and say, no, she's a woman who's really beautiful, and she deserves to wear whatever she wants in our free country
And expose her sexuality.
and show it, flaunt it if she wants. That's her prerogative, but there shouldn't be that B part, like, oh, well, she's going to get in some kind of trouble from some boogeyman, because I do think that,
Yeah.
No, we probably all go to that place. Yeah, we automatically.
I mean, especially
do.
on 4th of July, I was on the beach. I mean, there was like 1 ounce of clothing being worn by every girl on the beach, and it was like a beach horror movie could have happened that night, and we just changed a few elements, and the girls are all having such a good time, and everyone's just partying, and it's 4th of July, and just with one change, it could become a horror movie, with someone like Freddie on the beach, It's like,
Doing a
it's
rampage.
scary.
Well, Lisa mentioned, Freddy isn't just a big monster who doesn't speak, and how do you think that really changed that role and made it different from all the other iconic slashers at the time, like Jason and Michael Myers? Is it scarier or is it just more interesting?
I think what's so interesting about Freddy is that he's got that humor, So he isn't running around like, I'm a big monster. He's just very, like she said, very seductive and very
Clever.
Intelligent.
Yeah.
Clever,
Yeah.
intelligent.
Yeah, there's not that many monsters in film who are that clever and that funny and that smart and that diabolical.
Yeah.
They have one aspect of that.
Right.
Oh,
He's
all of them.
multi-dimensional and a layered kind of character.
And hideous. I mean,
And-
and hideous. But sometimes they're smart and handsome,
Right.
but then, sometimes they're funny and quirky, but never, hideous.
He's hideous.
How close is Robert Englund to Freddy, the character?
Oh my goodness. No.
Not at all. Nothing like it.
Nothing at all. Robert's like incredibly intelligent, like Freddy, and clever.
And clever,
And
funny.
clever, but he's
Funny.
cute
Very funny.
in real life.
Yeah.
And
He doesn't
very
really have an evil bone in his body, though.
No.
You don't even hear him gossiping about people or saying bad things about others. He'll notice funny things and like ironic things, but he never badmouths anybody.
Yeah, he's a good
That's
heart.
He really
cool.
goes out of his way to never be ugly about other people's personalities, even if he doesn't care for them. Or
Yep.
he
What
always
about-
finds something nice to say.
About the humor, the one-liners?
He's not that much of a one-liner guy.
No.
He's more.
He's
He's
more
a
of a
paragraph.
20, 30 liner.
He's a paragraph.
More like
He's a paragraph liner.
750 liner.
Yeah,
I didn't want to get that big.
No, it's
He
funny because
loves to extrapolate on ideas and concept and whatnot. He
well, it's
loves
funny
to-
because I think we were somewhere with Robert, and so they always ask him, "What do you think of Jackie Earl Haley?" Okay, so that's like #1 question for poor Robert, and please don't ask him that question. I mean, come on, you guys, please think of more original questions than that for Robert. But so he goes back, like, to Bad News Bears. starts talking about Jackie like when they were 4 years old, and then like 75 minutes later he'll say, you know, I didn't care for the performance, or whatever his opinion is, which I couldn't even tell you what it is, but or I love the performance, but, or you know, whatever it is, but he'll craft a very long story about
Yes,
anything.
very detailed.
Yes. And he's a great raconteur, though. He really is.
Yeah.
He's a great storyteller.
Do you have any stories about Robert Englund offset that you've never told before? A funny story?
No, I'm kidding.
I can't help
There's a reason why you haven't said it.
It's personal.
it. Yeah, it's too personal.
You all came here for this panel. Any questions from the audience? Right here.
For a question for Heather, the bathtub scene. How uncomfortable were you doing that? I mean, being so young and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, it was a very uncomfortable scene to do. Just being in a bathtub all day, as you can imagine, was not very much fun. But you know, it wasn't so. They closed the set that day, so there were very few people there. It was the director and the cinematographer and maybe 5 other people who were allowed to be there. The wardrober, makeup artist. So it's always nice to have a few women around. So that made me feel fine. And then we'd done maybe 3 or 4 hours of shooting that day, and the producer came by and he's like, Heather, I'm really sorry to tell you this, but we've had a paparazzi up in the catwalk all morning long. We just caught him. And so there had been a photographer like from some German magazine who had been like camped out right above the bathtub all day long, and and I was so humiliated. I mean, I just really, it really didn't upset me so that I couldn't work anymore, but I was like, oh no, now all these photos are going to get into some magazine in Germany and I'm going to be embarrassed. So maybe 5 years later, 6 years later, I'm going to visit my future grandmother-in-law, and she lives in Culver City. She was 80 years old, very tiny little Filipino woman. And when I get there, that German Skin magazine is on her coffee table. And she never addressed it. She never was like insulting or anything, but it was just right there, the first thing I saw when I went into the house.
Oh, no.
And I just thought back, God damn that guy. So, I mean, they were a very conservative Catholic family, so I just had to kind of blush, really deep breath, and then I just went on with the day. But that was the upshot of that bathtub scene in my mind. Like, but otherwise, it was a really technically really interesting scene to do. And the special effects guy was wearing full scuba gear beneath me, and that it was a very deep tub, like 10 feet deep. And he was just such a trooper. I really owe that whole great scene to him because he was under the water for maybe 10 hours that day. And, you know, and you can't hear under the water. So when Wes would say, you know, action, he couldn't hear it that well. So then we had a system of like banging, and it was like a very technical kind of thing.
That image is so iconic. You see it everywhere. Does that how does that affect you when you see it like on the internet or anywhere?
You know, it's so long ago, I just don't feel that attached to it anymore.
Mhm.
You know, I think of it as something that's so remote in my life that I don't have much of a reaction anymore. But I am always really flattered when people talk about it, or I see that it's. I was in a magazine maybe 2 years ago, and they had that picture as the opening of the article, and on top of it was my nightmare career. Did you guys see that?
I did.
And I thought, okay, I'm flattered by that, but otherwise it sounds really bad. And I'm in the bathtub, you know, it's like, it was a perfect title for an article about me, actually.
Audience? Right here.
This question's for all 3 of you. Did you initially try out for just the one role of each character, or did you try out for a different role also?
I just tried out for the one role. Yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I think all the girls try out for the lead, usually, in the beginning, sometimes. And then they say, okay, we want you to read this role now, or
Mhm.
Yeah.
sometimes they just do that to kind of separate all the different actors. I think everyone read for Nancy, and then I think, like Amanda said, okay, why don't you read Tina, after they saw, like, who she is, and
Right.
Anyone else here? Right here.
For Heather, I'm curious, the unique concept of A New Nightmare, what your thoughts were on that when you were presented with the script for that, because it's so unique.
I just loved the idea of it. I mean, but then I was very apprehensive about using my own name in the film. I didn't really want to play Heather Langenkamp. I thought, oh, can't we just, you know, but it was so important to the breaking of the fourth wall that Wes was doing, and you know, with that film, and that I eventually became okay with it, but I didn't want the audience to think that that was really all me. And so it was complicated how I thought about it. And now, even now, I have to remind myself that I played myself, because in my mind, I'm playing a totally different character, but I have to remind myself that everyone in the world thinks that I played Heather Langenkamp in that movie, so, and I have to, you know, because I did take on a character. I didn't, you know, come to set and I would be so boring that nobody would want to see that movie. I had to add a little pizzazz in there, and even that isn't that pizzazzy.
No.
Thank you.
Deidre must have a question.
I
Not
told
to
her,
put her on the
I told her
spot.
she could not ask. No, I didn't.
Actually, every day, what did you do to get into character? Like, what was your preparation beforehand?
What did you do?
What did I do? Who's the question? I went back to grade school days, and Alice is like me in grade school, shy and bullied and daydreamer. Yeah, it kind of went back to that age, that time for my character.
Yeah, for me too. Yeah, it did.
Because the characters were so innocent. They really were. I mean, maybe we were like sixth graders. I mean, what are sixth graders today?
Right.
Right. You know, where you're not, nothing's that complicated. And the thing that helped me every day was actually doing the gray streak every day, because you'd sit down and then she had, you know, basically like a streaks and tips kind of thing. And she'd paint my gray streak in, and I kind of used that to focus me on. But like you said, you would go to a much more innocent day when all you cared about was your boyfriend and, you know, and your school, and your mom was being a pain in the neck. And I also, you know, Nancy was the child of a divorce, so I think a lot of the times I would think about how kids who have to live in that really bad situation where your parents aren't talking, because there was this overtone of her life being not as great as it had been. You know, obviously her sister was killed by Freddy Krueger, so you know this family has huge dark elements to it. So I would always try to remind myself, like, you know, can you imagine being the sister, and your younger sister had been killed. So
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of this darkness that people kind of forget about.
And my mother had died. We were just with our father.
Right.
So that, yeah, I mean, those sorts of things, you know, there was a sense of loneliness and
Yeah.
sadness
And I love it,
that's
like
going on.
and other characters too would play into it. Like I remember when Lynn Shay was like telling me to go home, and I thought if it had been another girl, they would have had her go to the office. You know what I mean? It's like there are other people feed into what you're thinking. You don't realize it at the time, but then when you see the final movie, I'm like, there's lots of elements of people kind of touching you in a way because they feel sorry for you, or they know, like, you know, oh, you know, just having a rough time, or best friend just died. And when that works, it's so convincing on screen, and I think that's another reason why the movie's so great. All the characters were so interlocked by their understanding of the girl's situations.
Do you still keep in contact with other cast members?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Toy Newkirk and Brooke Thies.
Mandy West.
And it's totally Amanda.
Yeah.
I see her like
Yeah.
all the time.
Andros.
Andros, Rodney.
Yeah,
I'll see him perform
Ken,
when he-
we see Ken a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, we are really all, we're family.
Very sweet.
Oh, and Mark. We haven't seen Mark in a while, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We miss
He's in
Mark Patton
Mexico.
here at
I
Days of
know.
the Dead.
We miss him. He's kind of, I think he went back to Mexico City.
He's in Mexico,
Yes.
and he has 2 stores down there now, I think, too.
Yeah.
He opened a second one.
Yeah.
Now, Deandra, she always dresses up. She's got the white streak. I just want to know if you have any memorable fan interactions while you're at the convention.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, my goodness,
There's so
Taylor,
many.
where are you?
There she is.
There she
Little
is. She
Taylor.
is amazing. She's plays Alice. Does what do you call the play?
Cosplay.
Yes, yes. And anyway, we've been hanging out all weekend. It's been great.
Mm-hmm.
So finally to meet her and for us to meet each other.
Yeah.
So
Well, Deandra always surprises me each time with a new outfit.
Mm-hmm.
And this time, superstar outfit of my blue, snappy, like warm up. I know, what do you call it? Fleece, like sweater thing, and then the purple warm up pants. And were you wearing scrunchy socks? I didn't notice. Okay, perfect. It was perfect in every way. The colors even were perfect.
yeah, I mean
Yeah.
Taylor had on the kick-ass outfit, you know, the jeans and the gray shirt and the jacket and you know the thing. Just, I mean the bracelet. I mean it's really fun. And made a doll, an Alice doll,
Mm-hmm.
with the wardrobe. I mean it's so
Yeah.
cool.
I know, I got mine too. It was nice.
Yeah.
It makes it a lot of fun to come to Indianapolis or this
Totally.
area because
And artwork and
our friends are.
And then we can't
It's
forget
really fun.
Paige. Can't forget
Oh, yeah,
Paige.
Paige.
She's amazing. She's
She
amazing. She
acted
always
out-
brings me great stuff.
Well,
and
she acted out the Nightmare 3 where Kristen is getting eaten by the snake.
yeah, and she did mine actually as in the white dress.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. Yesterday.
Yeah.
So that makes
great.
it a lot more entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
totally.
Totally.
Another question here?
Out of all the deaths in the Nightmare series, which one is your favorite?
Oh, that's easy for me. Mine is Joey in the bed.
Ooh, I hate that one.
That's my favorite.
The roach.
Yeah, the roach is one of my favorite
Turning
bugs.
into, I just, that.
But see, that means
image-
you're afraid of bugs probably. You probably don't like.
I killed him. But just that image of her tiny little body, and then she's got those big arms, and she's running around, and the thing's going like this. I just love that image.
Yeah.
Mine-
You know another good death was
Bradley
Nick Corey.
with the walking in the hospital.
Oh, that's
like,
creepy.
To
Yeah.
me, that one is just, it's so disgusting. That was the most disgusting one for me, where he's puppeteered by his veins.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was gnarly.
Definitely.
That is,
Gnarly.
I forgot about that.
That was awful.
And the heroin
I liked
one.
Nick
The
Corey.
heroin one actually is awful, but kind of funny too. I mean, it's very Freddy. It has that sense of humor. And they did so many takes of that. Oh my God.
They did,
Like,
wow.
I thought Jennifer had nailed it on the first take, but the director was so hard to satisfy. I mean, he really, and she'd been in makeup for a long time, and you know, then getting the hair done alone was just so tough. And then that bustier. I mean, everything about her costume was so uncomfortable and terrible. And they did like 85 takes or something.
What?
And there wasn't even a difference in her reading on each time, but the director was having hallucinations that day, I'm convinced, because we were all hearing the exact same thing, and he'd be like, okay, one more time. And Jennifer was very patient, didn't freak out, but I think I would have like said, that's enough. You've got to have it in one of those 85 takes.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah. Along those lines, what was the hardest scene for each of you to film that took the longest?
I think what took the longest in the whole film was getting my hair done every morning. Because I had virgin blonde hair, and they wanted me to dye it, and I was like, I'm not gonna permanently dye my hair, oh my gosh. So they put rinse on my hair every day, which is a liquid, and it's very wet, so my hair is sopping wet, and then they had to blow dry it. So my hair took like an hour and a half every morning. Wow. 2 blow dryers going on it, and then the fun part is, the director says, we're gonna have a rehearsal, and I've got dye running down my neck, and I'm not dry yet, and I've got this apron thing, and talk about humiliation, right? Great, and going out, I looked like a drowned rat times 12, and going out to rehearse, it was very humiliating. But I'll get back to you though on what scene actually took the longest.
During this panel?
No scene took more than like an hour, as I remember.
Yeah, we had to move pretty fast.
If you couldn't, I mean, as the movies got, as they had more money, I guess they could probably spend a couple more minutes on each scene. Right. I just remember Wes was like 2 takes by, let's go. There was never a chance to do it again with Wes.
Yeah.
He was very he was very satisfied, even if you did a bad job. That's what I felt like. But now that I see the movie, I'm thinking, oh, he saw something that I didn't see. So.
I think for me the beach scene was really hard to do.
That was hard.
Yeah, that was hard because having to, like, I had these goggles on and, like, had to go underneath into the sand, and, like, it kept getting in there and it kept getting in my eyes, and it was just, it was a nightmare. So then I finally said, could you have someone else do it? And they were like, okay. So then someone else came in and helped me.
Audience, there you go.
The session's for Tuesday. We would love for you to do your running Harlan impression.
Oh, God. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, Tuesday. Oh, you're such a nice buttocks. Oh, we want to show it more than that. We want to show. It's way too long. Let's make it shorter, a little bit shorter. Wear the bathing suit, just a string in the back. That's all we want to see. That's all. Very good. Your buttocks is beautiful. You need to show it. Oh my God, I was like, there is no way that I'm... There's no way I'm going out like that. I was like, there's no way. So they like sewed on a little skirt on the bathing suit and lengthened
He must have been so disappointed, wasn't he?
Oh, yes, he was disappointed, but he was okay.
Okay.
He said it's all right.
Can Lisa or Heather do an impression of anyone from the
I
movies?
do not do impressions.
Oh, come on.
I don't even know. I can't even do an impression.
Let's make a movie. We're going to make a movie. This is not ready. The Barry's story. But I could do another impression, right?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Did you think a chicken just came in here, right?
She does the best chicken ever.
There's contests for people like that.
I know. She does the best chicken ever. You should really hear her. Yeah, that's it. Keep going. I love it.
That's the highlight of the panel.
Oh my God.
Another question? Right here.
I have a question for Lisa.
Yes.
It always bothered me that your character never came back for Freddy's Dead. You kicked ass in 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Were you approached or not at all?
No, they just decided to just go a whole other direction. So, yeah, I know. I never got my death scene. Dang it. Maybe they couldn't figure out how to what would be appropriate to kill Alice.
Yeah.
Because I was just so kick-ass. No, I don't know. I have no idea.
Back here.
Well, this isn't awkward. Was anyone approached for the remake for a cameo?
Not me, no.
I actually inquired about and said, hey, I want to do a cameo. And they were like, they filmed in Canada.
Which movie are we talking about?
The remake?
Oh, the remake.
And, oh, actually, no. I'm thinking of the Freddy Jason movie, actually.
Freddy versus Jason?
Yeah, Freddy versus Jason. I wanted to do a cameo, but they were like filming in Canada, and they're like, sure, if you fly yourself up and put yourself up.
No, I actually, after they had tested the remake, I hear it didn't do very well with the audience, and a lot of the criticisms were that they had no reference to any of us. And so I did get a call to be in the opening scene with, in the restaurant scene. I didn't see the movie, but I guess there's a restaurant scene in the beginning. And it was so lame, like, they're gonna have me be like the dishwasher in the kitchen. And I just said, I'm sorry, I can't help you out on that.
The major Heather Langenkamp is a dishwasher.
Yeah, it was like it was so far in the background, like, well,
oh my gosh.
Rudy.
Heather, we want you to come and be an extra, okay? We know you're like the queen of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Don't you think, like, there's a real fine line between just being an extra that day
Yes.
and being a cameo? And so my rule is kind of like, you have to have at least one line. It has to interact with the main character. You have to look great. You can't be
taking those
made
guidelines.
fun of, like, you can't be like, you know, being, I don't know. So I thought that it was one a dishwasher, but it was like someone in the way back never said a line, didn't interact with me, with the main character, and so it failed on all 3 of my criteria.
Yes.
And I'm glad. I'm so glad I did not participate. Close call.
Good question. Tuesday, did you have an answer for that one?
Huh?
Did you have an answer? Were you approached for the remake?
Cameos?
No, I wasn't. Not for that, no. Only for the New Nightmare. I mean,
Yeah.
that one, yeah.
Yeah.
That was really
For the
nice.
for the funeral scene.
Yeah.
That was actually really fun.
That was when I first got to meet you. And that was,
That's right.
That was really great. I remember we had a lot of good talks.
That was a beautiful scene. A scary scene too,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Oh, God, yeah.
Were you guys watching while we did the whole fall into the coffin kind of thing, or did we move off to the?
You moved off.
Yeah, we moved
Yeah.
off to the side.
Yeah. Couldn't really see, you know?
Yeah. Well, because it was a special coffin that had enough space for all of us to get inside, so it was off to the side there.
Question here.
I have a question for Lisa.
Yes.
I know your attitude changed after every death, but did they do, because there is that physical transformation and Dream Master, did they do anything to your appearance after every death to change into that?
I think I got to, a little more, got to wear a little eyeliner.
Yeah, you picked eyeliner.
And you know, and it's interesting you brought that up because, yes, after every death, there's a physical change and a change in my wardrobe change, but also my demeanor. So I've had it, and obviously we don't shoot in order. So in my script, I wrote, okay, all right, she's died. I made a list of who had died, and so which characters to enable or not enable. You know what I mean? For each scene. So you know, if I was.
Yeah, you do have to keep.
I have to keep track of yeah.
That's the hardest job I think is trying to be accurate about your mood. Even if you're doing, like, after the funeral scene on the first day, you have to really kind of play it all out in advance in your head, and then write it down and try to keep track. It's very tough.
Yeah.
Or if you're doing 3 or 4 scenes in one day that are on very different ends of the timeline, it's like whiplash.
Do you try to act differently if it's a scene where you're dreaming as opposed to when you're awake? Even if it's a slightly...
I moved like at half speed. I'm just gonna move really slow, like I'm gonna drink. Yeah.
No, play the same.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of the same person.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions here? Did any of you have nightmares like during filming or afterwards?
No, I didn't. I didn't have any nightmares.
No, but I had
Real
something
life
happen.
nightmares?
Yes, a real life nightmare. We'd been filming, and it was late. It was about 1:30 in the morning, and I get home. I have my script bag, and I'm walking up to my home, and I see some tennis shoes, like feet with tennis shoes on, and I'm thinking, oh, that's my husband waiting for me at the back door. And I look up, and I look up, and I look up, and it's this huge man who was. His buddy was robbing cars in the garage next door, and he attacks me. I mean, he puts his hand over my, and I wear glasses to drive, you know, and it popped out the lenses out of my glasses, and my first instinct was to just protect my heart. I couldn't see if he had a weapon or not, and I'm like, yeah, I've been screaming that day. I screamed some more.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and my neighbor heard and lifted up the window and said, hey, what's going on? So anyway, and I'm like, I ended up on the ground. I'm like, oh,
What were you wearing? No, I'm just
I deserved it.
You deserved it, didn't you?
Dress.
You hussy.
You were wearing the pantsuit. She was wearing the pantsuit. I bet.
That's sexy. So I ended up on the ground, like on my script bag and my purse or something. Anyway, he like pulled, and he got my script bag and my camera.
Oh no!
I know, and so this mugger has a Nightmare on Elm Street 4 original script. Probably sold it on eBay. And so anyway, yeah, so that's when the police came, and yeah, it was really awful. But I was fine.
it a weekend? Could you recuperate, or did you have to go to work the next morning?
I had to work. No, I had to work the next day. Yeah, no, it was pretty scary. So anyway.
Yeah, I'm sorry to bring up such memories here.
Well, oh, and then my husband, he hears this commotion. He comes running out with a knife. Anyway, it was kind of surreal.
Yeah.
Wow,
I
that's
never knew
scary.
that.
Super scary.
No.
No, you've never told us.
No.
Just
You've
been buried.
I guess I buried it. Yes,
forgot
I
about it.
did. Oh my.
Wow, that's
all right, now I'm doing my therapy.
What do you have to do to practice for your scream? Or do you practice for your scream?
Oh, just look at Freddie's face. No.
I'm a terrible
I actually
screamer.
like do singing exercises, like you know, vocal warm up kind of
Do you?
exercises. Yeah, but I
You're
don't
so
do it
kind.
now.
You're
I
so
mean,
kind to your vocal cords.
Well, I just knew that I always actually really admired people who told me they would go like into Laurel Canyon and scream all night long so they would have that husky voice. And, you know, a lot of women do things like that so their voice is lower. But I always felt like it was bad for you or something like that. So I would always want to make sure that I was really warmed up. But yesterday I screamed and I'm still hoarse because if you don't warm up, my vocal cords really hurt a lot after I scream if I don't warm up. So.
One last question here from the audience. Right here.
2 questions. First, what did each of you think of the remake? And second, did you think that the guy they got to play from The Watchmen, Jackie Haley, did you think he did a decent job trying to play Freddy? Or did Robert Englund? I don't like it.
Did you come into the panel late?
No.
I didn't see the movie. I wouldn't go see it.
I saw the movie. I think I'm the only one who did, right?
I saw it.
Oh, you saw it too?
Yeah.
No, you know, why mess up perfection? I mean, Robert just is Freddy. There's no way around it. I don't care how good the guy's performance is. It's a totally different take, and for me, it was like, what are you doing? I just did not go there.
I mean, I really admire Jackie Earle Haley. I think he's an excellent actor. But much to, concur is that, I mean, Robert Englund is Freddy. He just, and like I was talking about, like, just the way he moves that glove. I mean, that didn't just, like, happen. I mean, that took years he nails that, but that took him experimenting and whatever. And it's so, Jackie Earle Haley just didn't have the Freddy
well, I mean, he
presence.
was kind of set up for not. You can't really
Yeah,
be successful.
I can't blame him. You can't.
If he did anything that Freddie did, they would say, "Oh, he was just mimicking
Yeah.
Robert Englund." And then if he came up with any of his own ideas, then they would be like, "What the hell is he doing?" Robert would never do that in a million years. So,
like me, he was doomed.
The performance is doomed on so many levels, and I'm sure he was happy to, have the opportunity to play that part. But maybe he might think second time about doing it again. I don't think he would do it again.
You have a question?
Yes.
For discontinuous, would you be willing to do the Marie game?
What's that? I still have some pride, Anthony. I do. I kind of forgot some of the moves, but I do remember one thing I always did when I played Marie. And it was just an involuntary reflex. I see a lot of kids do it sometimes when they're playing sports, but I would always put my thumb inside, like when I'm dancing. Like it was such a dorky kind of thing to hide your thumbs. But I found when I look at myself, I'm always hiding my thumbs as Marie. It was something that just was a physicality of her personality. And so, I don't know if you ever do this. No. It's weird. I don't know. Whoever does it. I mean, but Marie, every time she's dancing, she's always, hiding her thumbs. Maybe because of phallic symbols.
Yes, an erect thumb can be scary.
For Marie, it would definitely have been frightening for her.
Yes.
Well, I'm Neil Jones from WithoutYourHead.com, and let's hear it for Lisa Wilcox. Tuesday night, the headline band, the Ladies of Elm Street. And there's still some time to show them some love at their booths.
There is, I know. I'm actually, we're leaving. Oh, you are? No, I'm going to hear all day, so go see them first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm leaving when you leave. We're going to Vegas together.
We're going to Vegas.
What I wanted to say is that if anybody hasn't brought their can for the canned food drive, there's still time to go to Kroger, get your can, and donate it, because Deandra's holding a canned food drive at this convention this weekend. So I have my cans. They're actually on my table. And I think that kind of thing is a really fun part of these conventions. Thank you, Deandra.
Thank you.
Is it a kitchen, like a food kitchen or something?
It's just a food bank.
A food bank. Okay, great. Yeah. All right. So if anybody has time, just jet out to the Speedy Mart. They still have 3 cans of green beans. Oh no, they're peas, aren't they? They're peas, Michelle, aren't they? Are they peas that are left at the Speedy Mart that we went to?
Yeah.
Yeah, who likes bees? I don't know. I know. And Spam, there's a couple cans of Spam too. And a lot of people do like Spam, I know. I know it's so complicated.
Is it in Hawaii?
Yeah, they can put the
Yeah, they make sushi out of it in Hawaii. I forget what it's called, yeah. It's actually tasty.
You had some?
Yeah.
Can I get a picture before you all go?
Yeah. Okay.